Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge. Welcome to the Inner Alchemy for January the 27th, leading us through to the 31st. Inner Alchemy is a blend of the teachings of human design, the gene keys, and incorporating some tools as a more than existing Lightworker coach. As the mandala wheel is turning, we are entering into what is known as gate number 19, the gate of approach. This is going to be the second gate activation found down in your root center within your human design body graph. And it is leading us towards the solar plex in the teachings of human design, which is all about your emotions, your spirit, and your depth. So it is also part of what is known as the channel of sensitivity. And as you can imagine by the name itself, you are very likely going to be experiencing some increased sensitivity that are in relation to your emotions at this time. Now, it's also interesting because on the 29th of January, we also go through the Lunar New Year. So in Chinese astrology, we are entering into what is known as the Year of the Snake. So that is all about transformation. It is also a 9-year, 2025. So we are also looking at an intense time of coming to the completion of something and having to face some endings in order for there to be new beginnings. So when you take into account that that is coming through a channel of sensitivity, that it is affecting our root center, which is our foundation, it is the pressure in the form of stress to help us evolve and to move forward, and also really harnessing the power of emotions in order for us to grow and to expand in our emotional intelligence. Now, as you can imagine, in the gate of sensitivity, there's also going to be a lot of triggers to the emotional energy. We are still very young in our emotional awareness, and a lot of times we have developed our own coping skills in order to deal with the power of emotions that come into our body, or ways to protect ourselves because we are sensitives, we are empaths, we do feel the world at a great extent. So this is a time for you to really notice what is irritating you, what is triggering you, what is making you feel uncomfortable, addressing your fears in a healthy way. So where you are reluctant to change, where you might have to be more gentle with yourself, and also really coming into working on a strong foundation of you. We are still in Aquarius season, and Aquarius is the element of air. It's also the symbol of the cup bearer. So you are the vessel, and what you are feeding into the vessel of you does matter. So we really want to watch how our mind is speaking to our bodies, what our ears are picking up from the world around us, and knowing how that does either stimulate fear and create an emotional imbalance that perhaps leads people towards depending on someone else to meet their needs, or feeling like they can't cope by themselves, and really kind of standing in your own power going, does that make sense to me? So we're also looking at the shadow here of codependency during this time, and codependency occurs in many different ways. And this is where you can really take a look at your human design chart to notice for yourself any areas of conditioning that you may have occurred. And the best way to look at that is any of those centers, the 9 centers in your chart that appear in white, well, those are like little sponges. They're picking up the energy of the world around you, and they often become our areas of greatest conditioning. So you may have a white and undefined splenic center, which means you are feeling other people's fears. You might have a white solar plex, emotional center, so you're feeling someone else's emotions. You may have a white root center, so you're feeling someone else's stresses. So every single one of those 9 centers within the teachings of human design have very specific energetic properties. So the more you get to know about who you are, the more you can really move through your own deconditioning process to build a stronger foundation with yourself. So the gift during this time is to really acknowledge that we are sensitive. And sensitivity is known as both a curse and a blessing because it can be overwhelming to feel to such an extent. But when we allow ourselves to really get to know who we are and to develop good coping mechanisms that are healthy, so that includes setting realistic boundaries for yourself, respecting yourself, having honest conversations with others, allowing yourself to engage in many different experiences so that you can learn new skills and you can feel safe and supported in the world around you. When we really start to embrace our sensitivities, we become more aware of how we are connected to the plants, to the animals, to other people. We are in this world together. So we're learning to evolve and come from a state of it's all about the little self, the little I, to knowing that we are in this together. So yes, we are in a time of great sensitivities. We are in a time of increased realization about how fear has impacted our abilities to feel safe and secure and to trust in the wisdom within your body. How we have really kind of leaned towards external agencies, external validations to tell us we are enough or to tell us what to do. So you really want to address any areas of codependency within yourself, areas where you can do something, but you choose to have somebody else do that for you. And that could be something where having to get someone else to validate if you are right, if you are good enough, if you are heading in the right direction. And every time you do that, you are disempowering yourself, disrespecting yourself, disregarding yourself, and that does create very shallow roots. It doesn't feel very safe to be anchored into the earth and to walk the human journey if you're not trusting in your body's ability to tell you what is right for you, what is not right for you, without your ability to trust in your instinctual nature to guide you through, without knowing that we are connected to a larger network and we all have a support team. So we have been taught that God, Source, the Creator, is external from us. Well, what if you are that source, that creator, that God essence within you? What if you are not separate from that source? So I know in my own journey, I really had a struggle with the word God. It would trigger me. And I had an illusion that God was a male authority figure that was judging me, that I had to do certain things in order to be accepted, to be good enough. And that is a opportunity to really look at sometimes the teachings of a religion and how, just like a government, just like any body that is here with an agenda, with control, has a certain narrative, a certain to-do list, a certain way for people to conform to a system. So religion is just one example. We also find that within cultures, in societies, in school systems, in any structure. Whenever there is a structure, there is a form of hierarchy. Whenever there is a hierarchy, there is a form of corruption because we have human ego. We are so perfectly imperfect. Now, we live in a world that does have a lot of structures, but as we are seeing our world change and change very quickly, we're also seeing a lot of those structures being dismantled and coming apart. You are seeing secrets, you are seeing corruptions coming to the forefront. You are really being faced with a lot of opportunity to start questioning for yourself, does this feel right? you're also seeing a huge escalation in fear tactics and emotional manipulation. So the more you learn about the power of emotions, how we're triggered by emotions, how we're sensitive to certain things, how we're sensitive to each other, and you really learn to stand strong in your own foundation by knowing who you are, trusting in yourself, sitting in the silence with yourself, getting to know who you are at a deep soul level, not who you've been programmed to be or conditioned to be, but who is the authentic version of you that came into the world equipped with everything that it needed to not just survive, but to thrive. So this is a beautiful opportunity as sensitives, as empaths, as light workers, as starseeds, as whatever you are identifying by, to not see your sensitivity as a curse, but to really step in to allowing yourself to stay open and to navigate through the sensitivities in order to find the wisdom on the other side. So yes, it may feel like you're going through a root canal. It may feel like the nerves within your body are really overstimulating at times. So this is where it is so important to watch your mind talk. Watch what you are listening to. Watch what you are engaging in within your environment and find ways to perhaps sit out of the energy right now. Let things dismantle as they're meant to dismantle, and remind yourself that this is part of a transformation. We are all here to shed away what is not working. We are being encouraged by an increase of light coming through at this time to force us up through that evolution, whether we want it or not. We're getting a big stimulation in there. And we can either fight that change and go kicking or screaming, or we can really lean into the change, just like coming out of the cocoon and being the butterfly and giving ourselves the time and the grace needed to adjust to a new form, a new state of vibrational energy. Let things settle and come back into balance. Don't jump in and make a bunch of decisions when your emotions are high or low and they're just kind of all over the place. Give yourself the grace of time to know that things will balance out, to get really clear on what your needs are at this time, being responsible for meeting your needs. And when you are in a healthy place yourself, allowing yourself to be supportive to others by being empathetic to whatever process they're going through. So anybody who is very sensitive to animals, and we call these sometimes the horse whisperers, the dog whisperers, but there's a natural ability to communicate with the animal realms, the plant realms. They know that it is up to the animal to come and approach them. They don't make a move. They don't force anything into creation. They allow for the space and the time for the animal to build a trust to come into their presence. Well, as humans, we can learn the same. We can learn to not interfere, but to allow someone to go through their natural course and allow them to come into your presence if you're feeling healthy and stable in your energy, to just sit and get to know and get to adjust. So we're not here to fix or save anyone else. We are here to become emotionally responsible and emotionally independent as part of our evolution and our growth. So embrace your sensitivities, embrace the deeper teachings into this. If you want to dive really deep into the teachings of gate number 19, into Aquarius season, what it really means to be following the mandala wheel, the patterns, getting to know yourself, we do have some courses available within the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. if you would like to check out your zodiac sign. And there's also a free course in there that I would highly recommend by my dear friend and spiritual teacher, Corey Thorne Cameron, that is called Increasing Our Emotional Intelligence. This is a beautiful time to really jump into those teachings, to notice how it is within yourself, to do some self-actualization, and to be very gentle within the learning process. So enjoy this week. Sit out this week if you need to sit out of the game and not engage, and allow yourself to just notice. Notice what is coming up for you without judgment. Notice what is coming out in those around you without judgment. And embrace the beauty of our sensitivities that are becoming more and more attuned with not just the needs of ourselves, but the needs of the group and the needs of the collective. We are in this together. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Take care.